What's up, guys? Another Monday here at the Tivoli Tap House. Thanks so much for tuning in. And just a reminder, if you guys are on campus, if you know, every Monday at around 5:30, you're going to be here. Make sure to stop in the Tivoli Tap House to watch Juan and I with another episode of the Coach's Corner. Juan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I just have a quick question, Celeste. How come you're not wearing any Metro gear today? I'm the only one
Why are you calling me out right now? Why are you calling me
out?
I wear Metro gear every other week, but this time. Anyway, so yes, guys, so another episode. Who are we going to have on the show today, Juan?
All right, so we have first-year head coach for the cross-country team, Trent Mack. Is going to be talking to us about the RMAC championships that were played this weekend. We have women's soccer head coach, Tracy Chao, which is going to be talking to us about the run towards the playoff. And then we have Molly Smith from the women's cross-country team. She's going to be talking to us about her last RMAC championships this past weekend. Awesome.
I'm excited to have Molly on the show. It'll be her first time on the show today. But before we bring in our guest, let's get you guys caught up on everything that happened this past weekend in Roadrunner sports. The volleyball squad played 3 of the top 4 teams in the RMAC this past week, and the Roadrunners came away with 2 wins, including an upset victory over 9th-ranked Regis University. Coach Glenn's squad tallied an amazing 99 digs to thwart the mighty Ranger offense, while 4 Roadrunners had double-digit kill totals. MSU Denver would fall to Mines 3-2 in Golden, but would rebound to defeat Colorado Christian 3-2 in Lakewood, and are currently in the 3rd spot in the conference, standing with an 11-2 record.
And the women's soccer team split their series on the road this past weekend, defeating Western State 2-1 in Gunnison before falling 2-0 to UC Colorado Springs on Sunday. In the victory over the Mountaineers, the familiar faces of Raina Banks and Elise Bernard netted goals, while goalkeeper Erica Torres made 5 saves, earning the win. The 1-1 weekend places MSU Denver in the 4th spot of the RMAC standings and will take on the top-ranked Regis in the season finale on Saturday.
Men's soccer now, and they also went 1-1 on the weekend. They first put 3 goals into the back of the net to defeat Westminster 3-2 in Salt Lake City before falling to Colorado Mesa 1-0 in Grand Junction. In their victory, 3 different Roadrunners netted goals, and the game winner came from Kevin Beck in the 81st minute of the game. Coach Tittle's squad, is sitting in 3rd place in the RMAC and has 2 games this weekend to try and secure a first-round playoff game at home.
And finally, the cross-country team hit the road to Chadron, Nebraska for the RMAC championships. The men's team finished 9th at the meet and were led by senior Brandon Croggy, who finished 21st overall in a time of 26 minutes. Fellow senior Jason Carey crossed the line in the 33rd spot, while sophomore Sam Berg wasn't far behind, finishing 38th. The women placed 12th, and it was the surprising performance of freshman Alden Gurdell, who was the top Roadrunner to cross the line, finishing 48th. Junior Sabrina Rauter was right behind her, placing 51st. Next up for the Roadrunners will be the NCAA South Central Regional Championships in Canyon, Texas in a few weeks.
All right, guys, and now we bring in head coach Trent Mack. How you doing today, Coach?
Not too bad. How y'all doing?
Good, thanks. So before we get into your team's performance at the RMAC Championships, we have to ask how fast this first season has gone for you. It's like the season's already almost over.
It is crazy. Actually, when I was just walking over here, I was kind of running my fingers through it. I'm like, man, it's only been 3 months since I arrived. I can't believe how fast it's gone. But we've made a lot of progress just, getting to know the team and getting on pace with each other. So it's been good.
All right, so on to the championship on the weekend in Chadron. Set us the scene. How was the weather like? How was the track like? And how was the team feeling prior to the meet?
Well, it was definitely a real cross-country course. It's the hilliest course we've seen all season, which was exciting. I mean, it was a very challenging course. Conditions, 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts. So it made it a true outdoor event, that's for sure. But it was exciting. We knew what we were up against, some great competition, and I think none of the team this year woke up thinking like we want to go in and get 9th and 12th. I mean, that's the reality of it. We had expectations to finish a little bit higher, but the reality is we competed pretty well. We had expectations on individual performances and where we wanted to be, and that's encouraging, because when you compete where your expectations are at, that's when you know that you're kind of on the same page with the training and racing, and you can move forward from that.
And what would you say was the most difficult thing? Was it the track, the weather, or the competition?
I think cross-country mindsets in general are prepared for that type of the variables of the courses are always different. The weather, you never know what to expect, especially late in the season. But definitely the competition. I think the team, especially the returners, are more aware than I was. I knew the RMAC was a very challenging cross-country conference, but it's gotten even a little deeper and a little more competitive, which is going to make it exciting for us because we're up for the challenge.
So give us your thoughts on how the women did. We mentioned that they finished 12th, and your top finishers were Alden, who's a freshman, and Sabrina, who we've had on the show. You know,
I was encouraged because more kind of the feedback that they gave me after the race, and even today at practice, about they see the vision of where we can move, all returning, so we have chances to grow from there. But like I said before, they're competing where we expect. So how they're training, they're able to reflect that on the course, and that's really important in the sport of cross country, because the opposite end of the spectrum is you're training and then you go out and compete and you're nowhere in the ballpark of how you're showing week to week where you should be. So the consistency is really important with how they're competing, and that's going to help us take the next step forward.
And what about on the men's side? It was no surprise that Brandon led the way, but what was most surprising to you about the men's race?
You know, the men put themselves in the race. They gave themselves a chance. Like I said, we have some new faces. They're not new to the program, but some guys that have come back into the season late in the year here, just coming back from some health and some injury issues. And so I really was encouraged by how they competed. Sam Berg had an unbelievable race for his second race of the season, and that's really making an impact on our team performance. Having Jake and Kyle back healthy, so those guys are only going to help build off those front guys like Jason and Brandon, how they've competed all year.
And earlier when we first interviewed you here in the Coach's Corner, you mentioned that it was important for the teams to run in packs. So did you see that on the men's and on the women's?
Yeah, I think the women are a little closer up front with some of the top three girls. They've been really close and kind of changing up who's our top performer week to week. The guys are starting to really figure each other out. Like I said, we've been missing half of them throughout the season, not being able to train together. So we're kind of have a late start, really getting that feel for each other. But I think that we can take what we just learned from this weekend into the region meet and see what we can do with that.
So what were some of the things that you told your crew after the meet was over?
Well, I think, it was more about, I told them, like always, I like to sit down and really break down the results. And when you look at what we have up in front of us in 2 weeks, the region meet, you bring in two more conferences, the Heartland and the Lone Star. But the reality is, I think we have a realistic chance of finishing fairly close to how we just did. I mean, that's how deep our conference is. Looking at some of the performances from the other conferences, I think we can hold our own. And so we saw, I think, 75% of really the bulk of the competition that we're up against. And I think, you can only take that as a positive and good experience and build from that.
So you mentioned that the regional championships are in 2 weeks. So how do you prepare for that? And what do you stress to your team with so much at stake?
Well, like I said, I felt like we really raced kind of how we expected. So over the next 2 weeks, just trying to sharpen up a little bit, fine tune, try to put our legs under us a little more. It is a completely different course, and so it's going to be a little bit faster pace in general. Just a couple light hills, but almost more of a track style race. So we do a little bit of turnover and definitely make sure our legs are under us. And if we can improve our performance, across the board as a team, 1% to 2%, each guy and each girl picking up 5-6 spots, it makes a big difference in the team scores. It can move you up 2 to 3 spots in the team standings.
All right, Coach, last question for you. How much does the regional championship differ from the conference championship?
Like I said, you look at the conference championship and how deep it is. That really helps us going into the regional championships. I think the biggest difference is you see twice the number of teams, so twice the size of field. When you're in a field of 300 runners, it is important that the first 100 meters of the race, first 200 meters of the race, first couple minutes, that you position yourself well, because if you go out a little bit conservative, get stuck behind 50, 60 additional runners, it can take a long time to get around that massive field. And so positioning early, but having also the fitness to hold up to it if you're going to be that aggressive early. So it's just executing the race plan that we've worked on all season.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much once again for taking time out of your Monday to come hang out with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it, guys.
And good luck on the championships.
Thank you, always.
All right, guys, so before we let you guys go, we're going to introduce you guys to our new segment here on the show, and it's called Tweet of the Week. So it comes from our Metro State volleyball team, who retweeted a video from our Student Athlete Advisory Committee, who recorded the last point in the upset win over Regis last Tuesday. It was such a big night for the volleyball squad, and you could also tweet at the show if you have a question for the Coach's Corner. It's at Metro ST Sport, and we'd love to have your questions answered here on the show. So time for a break, but we're coming right back with women's soccer head coach Tracy Chao.
Since 1909, the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference has been a leader in collegiate athletics, with campuses in some of the most scenic areas in the United States. And now in Salt Lake City, Utah and Rapid City, South Dakota, the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, competition elevated.
It's not about where you were born. It's not about your gender or the color of your skin, or whether you're rich, poor, or in the middle. No matter what you play, if you have the skill and drive to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
I'm Kaylee Burrell, senior midfielder for the women's soccer team.
And here comes Burrell, and she's going to get this ball before it heads the out of bounds, crosses it in.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Aleesa Muir, senior forward from the women's soccer team.
Cross comes in here, Mar with a low shot, and Bernard puts it in the net. Bernard all alone right in front of the net.
And you're watching Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Guys, welcome back to the show. Before we get to head coach Tracy Chao, I want to tell you guys about the Mug Club. If you like your beers and if you love that Tivoli Tap House as much as we do, then become a member and get great discounts. And if you are an alum, the club is just a one-time fee of $25 faculty for staff and alum. So come sign up for $55 for family and friends and enjoy all the Tivoli beer that they have to offer. So now we welcome in Tracy Chao. How are you doing today, Coach?
Good, Celeste. Hey, Juan. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Good.
So we have to show off the tweet from a few weeks ago.
Oh,
You're wearing the red MSU Denver socks. We took the picture after your win versus Black Hill State. So did you wear them this weekend, and are they like superstition now, or is it just like the one-time deal?
They have been my game day Sunday red.
Okay.
But, you know, they're we did not win in them this past Sunday, so there might be
we'll
new.
just toss them in the
There'll be
basket.
some new rotation in the sock lineup for the game day. I'll have to get Kitzman on those.
All right, so let's get into some soccer action now. Your team played 2 games this past weekend. You guys won over there in Gunnison 2-1 in a complicated field where Western State was 4-1 at home, and you guys haven't won there since 2013. So talk to us a little bit about that match on Friday.
It was a good match. Western's a good team, and it is different. They're a grass field, and we're obviously more comfortable playing on turf. But the girls stepped out, played really well, and despite the elements, it was a beautiful day. It was a perfect day for soccer. It was 60s and sunny, hardly any wind, and we adjusted really well and came out, and we dictated the rhythm, and we were able to get a quick goal and hold on to that 2-1 win, so it was good.
And what's the hardest part about playing over there since, as we mentioned, you guys haven't won over there since 2013. So what's the hardest part about playing in Gunnison?
I don't know necessarily if it's just the pitch being grass. It's a little bumpier, and that does change the flight of the ball, how you play, the movement off the ball. So it definitely changes the game a little bit, but I think the biggest thing is coming out and dictating the rhythm, and we did, and making sure that our energy was high, and our warm-up really consisted of moving the ball in how we started the game. So that was just making sure the girls are getting comfortable with the grass. So I don't know what changed. Wasn't the Red Sox though? Those weren't on those days. It's blue. It's blue for Friday. Yeah.
It's gonna be the blue Sox.
They're blue Sox. I got my Colorado Sox for Friday. Yeah.
So we've seen a couple times this year when your opponent has answered right back after you guys have. So do you think that's just the other team ramping up a little bit, or are you guys just kind of, stepping your foot off the gas pedal a little bit?
It's definitely something we've chatted about quite a bit. It seems to be a common theme that we score early, we give up a goal, and then we score back again. And that's something that we're trying to work on and be really conscientious about game management. We go and score a really good goal, and we can't unplug. And so it's that next 5 minutes, those next moments, how do we keep momentum? So we've been talking a lot about momentum and making sure that we're staying sharp and focused and plugged in. Because you give up a goal and now it's 1-1, and now you have to fight back to score another goal. And like I always say, it's not easy to score goals in soccer, so we've got to hold on to that lead. So yeah, it's been something that we've talked about, and hopefully we'll continue to get stronger and get better and stay plugged in.
So after getting those 3 important points on Friday, you guys head to Colorado Springs and face the 7-2 UC Colorado Springs Mountain Lions. So you guys were tied during halftime, but then they got 2 goals in the second half. What stood out for you the most in that matchup?
Yeah, it was a good match. UCCS, I knew going into that game, they've got a new coach. Juan is a good friend of mine. I've known her for years, and I knew she was going to turn that team around. They've got a really good squad, and I told our girls they're sort of our doppelganger in terms of how they play and how we play, and it was going to come down to hard work. And the first half was dead even. We hit the crossbar twice, we hit the post twice. I mean, there was chances back and forth. The second half, we came out a little bit slow, and they kept momentum, and that's sort of the name of the game, is momentum and effort and energy. And when you unplug for a little bit and a team can capitalize, then you pay the penalty, and we did. So it wasn't our best second half, so it was a little disappointing. But you know, they're a good team, and senior day for them, so they had a lot of energy, acknowledging their seniors, and we have to, you know, for us now, it's our eyes on Regis coming up.
So you mentioned Regis. So after you guys get those 3 points, you clinch a playoff spot with maybe an opportunity to host. And now your last game of the season is against Regis. So would you say this might be the biggest game of your guys' season so far?
Absolutely. And sort of, even now that it's come down to the wire, it's the biggest game. But I tell them every game is big, and they have to realize that. But absolutely, this Saturday, this is huge. Yes, this will determine whether we host the quarterfinals on Tuesday or we go and travel. And it's in our hands. If we take care of business and we get a point, then we'll host, and that'd be awesome to play at home. So I love the fact that we can control our own destiny and we've set ourselves up to do that this season, which is, I'm extremely proud that we've done that. But we've got one huge monster in front of us, and Regis has obviously been undefeated through the conference. So they're beatable. We just have to make sure that we're ready to go.
And make sure not to wear red socks. Any of us.
Yes, no red. It's not Sunday game day red. I'll have to think of what my Saturday theme will be.
All right, so with just one game left, the Regis game, how do you prepare during the week? Do you give the team some rest? Do you guys prepare differently? How's the week different?
We're going to do a 14er to start off with tomorrow morning. You know, I hear Long's Peak or something is going to be pretty good for them.
Isn't it super cold right now for a 14er?
I'm like, wait, what?
No, it's at this point, it's about player management, keeping ourselves mentally and physically fit and ready to go, sharp. That's the biggest plan for this week. We're as fit as we're ever going to be, just based on going through the season. So it's making sure that we've got energy, we're mentally fit, we're physically ready, we understand what our game plan is going into Saturday, and we're just ready to compete. So that's going to be the biggest thing. No 14ers yet.
Not yet. So with this being the last home game, you guys are going to celebrate your seniors, and you have players like Aleesa Muir and Cassie Fisher. But I know you've only spent one season with them. But what have they meant to you and your program this year?
Yeah, the seniors have been great. I've been really fortunate to step into a team that has great leadership and great people leading them in our senior class. So Aleesa's been fantastic. Obviously, her and Cassie were chosen as captains and have led this team tremendously throughout day one until now, and will hopefully throughout the rest of the postseason. So they've been great people, number one. The class is made up of really great people, and that's the biggest priority for me. And not only that, but they've been really effective and impactful on the field. So that's been fun to watch, and I've been really pleased. Like I said, I'm very fortunate to have a great senior class, and they will be truly missed. I hope that they can leave a huge mark finishing out their season, and we can celebrate them Saturday, but also against next Tuesday.
All right, Coach, well, that's all we got for you today. Thanks so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, I always love hanging out with you guys.
Likewise. All right, guys, so don't go anywhere, because next we have Molly Smith from the cross-country team, so we'll be right back after this short break.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Enough. Yeah, I'm over it.
We shouldn't need commercials to tell you we're powerful.
No thanks. Genders don't play sports. Athletes do.
I'm Brendan Krogge. I'm a senior at MSU Denver. I run for MSU Denver cross-country team. You're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
My name is Erica Ruiz, and I am a senior at MSU Denver. You are watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in back to the Coach's Corner. We're here with Molly Smith, but before we get to her, I'm going to remind you guys to shop MSUdenver.com. It's starting to get cold outside, and I know for all you students and fans that are out there walking around campus coming to the games late at night, make sure to get some hoodies, some sweatpants, and to buy some for us as well, because the paychecks have not been coming in a lot lately. So make sure to think of Juan before you purchase. Juan and I should say. So Molly, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, of course.
So we were kind of talking to Coach Chao about superstitions. Do you like have anything before like you go out and race? Like, do you have to do something a certain way or like wear certain things before you go out and compete?
So sort of. I have socks that I wear, so I wear the same socks every time I race.
Oh, with the socks again, right?
Yeah. I don't know why, and I like, this is horrible and gross, but I don't wash them either.
Oh really? Like,
like ever. So I'm disgusting, I know, but I just like keep
it's part of the superstition. It's part of the superstition.
And like if I have a bad race, then I'll like keep them outside a little more, so like the bad juju gets off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But never wash. Never wash.
Never wash. Never wash.
All right. So this past weekend, your squad took part in the RMAC Championship. So how did it go for you, and how did it go for your squad as well?
Well, so I'll start with our team. Honestly, we did really well, like a lot better than I thought we were going to. I don't know, I just like always like to look on the lower end of the spectrum first, just so I don't like get my hopes up and crush myself. But we did really, really well. Like a lot of girls like ran really good races and PR'd, which was like really crazy because the course was insane. I don't know if you've heard about it yet, but it was like 1,300 feet of hills, and it was like 40-mile-an-hour winds during a race. So it was like the worst race ever, but it was super fun.
Yeah.
And for me, I did okay. I didn't like do anything exceptional, I don't think, but I had a good race. I had a solid race, so I had a lot of fun with it more than anything. It was probably my favorite race of the season, which is crazy because it was so weird, but it was a fun one. I liked it.
So what are some things that Coach Mack told you guys after the meet was over?
Well, so we ended up placing 12th, and like obviously that's not as high as we would have wanted, and so we were all kind of like, what do we feel? Like what are we supposed to feel? And he was just pretty much like reassuring us that like that's good. Like our conference is super hard, and like it's one of the best in the nation. So it's like, it's not bad to get 12th, and you know, it's like little tiny changes that we could have made, then we would have been like 7th or whatever, you know. So he was just kind of reassuring us that like we really did do a good job and put in solid efforts, and like next season when we have one of our returners coming back and all of us have another season under our belt, we're going to be that much stronger, you know. So it was encouraging. It was good.
All right, so the South Central Regional Championships are in 2 weeks in Texas. So how do you prepare for that, and how do you hope to improve from last weekend from the championships?
Well, so first of all, obviously I want to run a faster time because there's not as many hills in this course. I actually ran it a couple of years ago. And it's like pretty much just flat and dirt, and there's like mini pumpkins on the floor. So honestly, I just want to run a fast time and like get more competitive and catch more people, because like sometimes I find myself in the race like getting complacent, and I don't want to do that. It's like my last race of this season, so it's like got to push. And what was the other question? Sorry.
Just so many.
I was like, I don't know.
And what do you hope to improve from last weekend as well?
Oh yeah. Hopefully, as a team, we can put together another good, solid race. And we have some girls, Sabrina, I know she can have a stronger race, and me and Alden, we can have stronger races too. So hopefully, just as a team, like continue to move forward.
So you've been part of the cross-country program since 2014, so obviously a long time. So what brought you to come run here at MSU Denver?
Well, so in high school I worked with a running coach. I like went to running camps over the summer, and he was actually friends with one of the coaches that was here when I first came on as a freshman. And so he was like, you should go there. Like, it seems like a good fit. So I took a visit, and I came out here, and I just found out that I should come here. I like it. I love the city, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
All right, so in your profile at roadrunnersathletics.com, it says you're studying for biology. It used to say psychology, but you're studying biology. So what do you hope to do with that in the future?
Okay, so it says psychology online, but I'm actually bio major and on a pre-med route. I hopefully want to be a psychiatrist. That's why I previously did psychology, but I figured out you have to have a med degree to be a psychiatrist. So I don't know, it's really just my purpose in life to like help other people, and there's like a really growing need for psychiatry, and like basically for every 3 therapists there's only 1 psychiatrist, so it's just like I'm going to do it, you know? I just want to do that for people.
And do you want to work like with adults or kids, or what's like your main focus in psychiatry?
I think I would mainly want to work with like teenagers, teenager age mainly.
So you have an older sister and 2 younger brothers. Are they athletes too, or did you just like get all the athlete genes in the family?
Oh, no, honestly, I didn't even get most of them. So my sister, she was always an athlete in high school, and she was going to play college soccer, but she ended up going a different route. And then my younger brother, Eric, he actually does soccer at LeTourneau University in Texas, and he's a freshman this year. And then my younger brother, he plays soccer too, and he's a sophomore, I think.
One of those.
I don't know. He's young. I don't know his age. I suck. But yeah, so everyone's pretty much athletic. My dad's super athletic. My mom's super athletic. Like, I feel like I'm the least athletic out of all of us, which is really like embarrassing. But
did you play soccer too? They seem to all be like.
Yeah, I did, but I got totally burnt out because I was like, I don't want to go to soccer games anymore. Like, so I was like,
over it.
I tried volleyball, I tried softball, I tried everything.
But
I just did running because I like found out one time that I was good at it, and I was like, all right, I'll just do that.
Sure, why not?
So just out of curiosity, what position did you play in soccer?
I was a defender, and I scored on myself 3 times.
Really?
And that's why I figured out I was not a soccer player.
And that's when she realized soccer was not for her.
Yeah, nope.
All right, Molly. Well, that's all we have for you today. Thanks so much for coming on the show. We hope your first time on the Coach's Corner wasn't too bad. Okay, good.
Not
you got us the thumbs up. All right, guys. So before we say goodbye, let's give you guys a heads up on what's coming up in Roadrunner Sports this week. So we finally have some home soccer this weekend, so make sure you come out and support Coach Chao and Coach Tittle for the final regular season games of the 2017 season. First, the men will welcome in the Griffins from Westminster on Thursday at 4 p.m. Then they'll take on Colorado Mesa on Saturday at 1:30. Both games at the Regency Athletic Complex. And as we mentioned, the women have just 1 game left on the schedule, taking on Regis at home on Saturday at 11:30. So both teams are looking for wins to earn a first-round home playoff match. So wear that red and blue while they cheer on our Roadrunners.
And they're also going to be the senior day games, so make sure to come out. And speaking of the playoffs, the volleyball team is also in the thick of the playoff chase. They'll head on the road to face off against South Dakota Mines on Friday at 7 p.m. and against Black Hills State on Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Looks like both of the games will be broadcast on their website, so make sure to visit roadrunnersathletics.com for the video links and root for Coach Glenn and her squad as they get closer to the postseason.
And we have one more piece for basketball. So now that the season is almost coming up, the RMAC preseason poll just came out, and both the men's and women's are picked to finish 5th, as well as Ordorf, Jaylyn Smith. Sorry.
Jaylyn Smith.
I was thinking of Jaden Smith, like Will Smith's kids, you know. But Jaylyn Smith and Cam Williams were all picked as preseason all-conference. Sorry, guys. I thought I memorized it, but obviously I didn't. So we'll have head coach Michael Ball on the show with us next Monday, so be sure to tune into that. For head coach Tracy Chao, Trent Mack, and Molly Smith, I'm Celeste Zubia, and we'll see you guys next week.
Metropolitan State University of Denver nurtures student aspiration and empowers lifelong success through personal attention and professional experience in an inclusive environment. Located in the heart of downtown Denver, the university offers broad access to a transformative undergraduate and graduate education on Colorado's most diverse college campus. And as a gateway to opportunity, MSU Denver advances the intellectual, social, cultural, and economic well-being of Denver and beyond.